Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation from east to west to north to south. Welcome to our third Take 5 of the day. All right, we got a lot going on in the world. We got Bo Pony, perfect timing, God's timing. We'll talk about what is happening with cyber attacks as we speak. Quarryville, Pennsylvania. You heard Dr. David Martin talking about Quarryville, Pennsylvania when he was on about an hour ago. That's where he grew up. So that's our next tent revival, Quarryville, Pennsylvania, June the 24th. 2023. We will be there. Bo Pony will be there. Dr. Sherwood will be there. Timothy Dixon will be there with us. And Jimmy Levy will be singing. I think he has 3 sets on that. And he's going to open us up in the national anthem. And we're going to blow the shofars, pray, and it's going to be a great event. So we will see you in Quarryville, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to bring Bo Pony on now. Bo, we're going to get back from Pennsylvania just in the nick of time, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I fully agree with you on that one. All my calculations are, been saying that, summer solstice, which is the 21st, the very, very big number that I've been looking at for a few months now, pretty much since February, March, was the 25th of June. So that's like a critical point in time where everything, we don't know what's going to happen, but we're seeing as we're racing into the summer solstice and into the 25th, how these incredible things are popping off across the world right now. We just had, the Trump indictment, and then his birthday yesterday, and then today. I actually haven't even watched the news today, but it was kind of fun jumping on with you, and you were like telling me all those things that are popping off right now. So, you can kind of cover some of that as well too. But yeah, this is very exciting and crazy at the same time too, because we're about to witness something, best word would be biblical, that's about to manifest. That's going to be so incredible. The world's, never going to forget what's about to go down here.
So we're under, as we were talking about before we went live, we are under a cyber attack right now. There's multiple federal agencies that have been attacked. The White House a couple of days ago came out and said, watch out for China. The internet the systems may go down. There'll be cyber attack. And just probably 2 hours ago, this Killnet claims that they will launch a cyber attack against the SWIFT financial network within the next 48 hours to try to bring down all the financial system.
Wow. Slide number 1 basically says, that we're stepping into a checkmate moment where something's about to manifest. We don't know what's going to happen. Slide 2 basically shows you right there, but this is going to be incredible. This will be the destruction of the United States as we know it. But this is it's like, oh my gosh, that's a terrible thing. Well, you have to understand the United States as we know it right now is fully captured, right? It's a completely captured enterprise, and everything is controlled by an evil regime. And so we're about to see something manifest where the time window I've been calculating, which is the end of June here, whatever, we want to use the day, the 25th of June. The point is from 25 June onwards, we're stepping into something different. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if evil had a window of time, that window of time comes to an end on or about the 25th of June. And therefore, as June ends and July begins, and then we head into August and September, we're stepping into something different, if that makes sense as well, too. And so that would then start. So what behind you, right, is his glory. But when God manifests, the tables flip, and that's really what we're stepping into, is a moment in time where everything suddenly changes. Well, look what if this swift system does manifest here, where there's a cyber attack, or they shut the swift system down, there's going to be a moment in time where the BRICS nations, if that's who's kind of leading all this stuff, we don't really know. I don't really know. I've been saying forever that it's all about the control of humanity done via the Federal Reserve note, the money system. Okay. The money system is how they've enslaved humanity. So, student loans, credit cards, mortgages, death grips, right? All of this is enslavement, and it's a system of control of humanity. And then you can tie in the Federal Reserve with that, you tie in the IRS with that. All of this is tied in under one massive control mechanism. And now that we got 45 who's out of the office for a season, the jackal's in there. Everything is completely controlled because they're pulling. He's the puppet, right? And so they're
Right.
pulling the puppet masters are pulling all the puppet strings, and they're signing away and they're changing everything. But everything's about to blow because why? When time is up, when the fullness of time arrives, it's over, and the next begins. And so we'll talk about that during the presentation today, but that's really what we're racing into. July is going to be this time point where we're like, what just happened? What just happened? Right. And that's what's going to be going on in the world. Kim Clement prophesied and named July as strange July, because it's going to be a moment in time where everything we know suddenly was exposed. It just everything is like, are you kidding me? That's what they've been doing for all this time. And what happened here with Trump and the indictment, right? Why? Because at the same exact time, they're literally talking about the phone conversations that were recorded with Biden,
Right.
right? And so when one thing happens, they knew that all those tapes are going to be, the recordings are about to be released. So therefore, boom, they go and indict, Trump, to try to distract, look over there while all this incredible stuff over here is happening. And that's all we're seeing. It's this incredible, control of the narrative. And like yesterday, I was watching a little clip on CNN. It was just the funniest thing. They're starting to sweat. Okay. If you watch that announcer on CNN, oh, she is sweating.
Absolutely.
They are nervous.
Yeah, and even you had Jake Tapper on CNN said, no, don't, because they showed that video of them praying over President Trump in that cafe, that restaurant. Yeah. No, we don't need to hear that. He's sweating too. He knows it's coming.
Oh yeah, yeah. They know that they're about to be in a world of hurt. Exposure is coming their way, and their time now is so incredibly limited. We're at a moment in time as well too. Just pride cometh before destruction. That's what's happening. On slide 2, we basically talk about destruction of the United States. But why is that good? Because it's the fall of the evil cabal. Mm-hmm. So the destruction of the evil system that controls humanity. And then we're going to step into the birth of something new. Well, the birth of something new is going to be magnificent, right? But horrible if you are working for the evil ones, right? So it's a double-edged sword. It's going to be the glory like we can't even comprehend, the things that are about to manifest here. And compared to the most incredibly, this evil is going to be exposed to the degree people are going to be freaking out that, first off, they're going to be scared as heck because they just got exposed, and they're going to be calling each other out. It's going to be an incredible time of the world to watch all of this manifest, because then when we step into August and into September, my goodness, talk about incredible changes that we're going to be witnessing. So as ugly and as dark as everything is right now, this is kind of a good point. As dark as everything is right now, you got to go low, you got to go dark to go high, right?
Yep.
So God took us low, and now he's going to do the greatest rise, the revival we've ever, can witness or imagine in our life.
Just before you, we had Dr. David Martin on, and it was more of a Bible study than was anything else. It was amazing, but he was talking about that as well. He was talking about we're in the second inning. Dark is going to show himself. Light is coming. This is the greatest time in the history of the world to be alive. And he says, how great would that be that we can rebuild God's kingdom with their finances?
Yes. And that's exactly what's going to happen, right? Proverbs 13:22, the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. So like I've stated before, when evil comes on scene, so when the Antichrist system does come on scene in the future, okay, they're going to come on and come out with a digital money system, but that's it. They don't get the gold or the silver. So when I say the church, it means, those that work for the kingdom, right? Because
Right.
the gold and silver that is going to be transferred, and they're going to lose. Even JP Morgan, they've got massive stashes of silver, right? They're going to lose everything because God's going to use their own laws against them to rip out everything that they're storing. So they lose everything. That's where the banks ultimately go down. They lose all of their wealth. And then when the evil regime does pop up again in the future, right, to fulfill Revelation, because this is not a moment in time where, we're stepping into a 1,000-year millennial reign.
Right.
This is the mortal wound that was referenced in the Bible. So that's what's about to happen here, or the fall, or the best analogy I can give is the fall of Babylon. That's really what's about to happen here. This 2,500-year prophecy we're about to witness this year. It's incredible how all of this is playing out. Let's start on the slide deck here. We can go
Okay.
through a few slides. So let's shoot over to page 7. Let's start on page 7 as we're racing over here into the summer solstice. So Trump just turned yesterday 77 years old, and on the 21st he's going to be 777, 77 years and 7 days old. Again, very powerful time point within our world. Why? Because pride cometh before destruction, and the summer solstice is the day of the most light. Okay, so what does light do to darkness? It exposes. This is the key here. Light exposes the deals done in the dark. Okay, what are they hiding? Why did they indict Trump? Because they want to continue to hide the deals that Biden's been doing in the dark, right? And so when all of this comes out, the truth will set us free. And these are all scripture. You want the truth, read the Bible, because the Bible is nothing but a history book of what happened and what's to come. That's so critically important to understand. So the summer solstice is the day of most light. Light destroys darkness.
So let's go back to that again for a second, because that's just amazing. On the 21st, he will be 77 years old and 7 days exactly.
Yes, 777. From the day he was born to the first day in office, he was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days.
Amazing.
So, and this is like you go to Vegas, 777s. My point I'm trying to make, this is not numerology. This is literally, you read Daniel's timeline, okay? Daniel talks about number 7, okay?
Yeah.
Period. 777s is very powerful. It just is. You want even a more powerful number? Number 8. Why? Tilt on that side. It's infinity. It's God, okay? It's just, the most powerful number is a 888s. Right? It's Father, Son, Holy Spirit. So this is all just biblical because God wrote the story from the beginning all the way to the end. And he wrote the story at the beginning. And so you're going to find coincidences that we're going to talk about this. It's a coincidence that he's 77 years old in 7 days. It's not a coincidence because God wrote the story. See, so God had arranged the story so he would be born so that when the summer solstice hit, he would be 77 years old in 7 days. Get it? It's not a coincidence. It's by design.
Yep. And
everything.
There's no coincidence is not a kosher word, as the rabbis say. It goes back to when I took the botulism toxin. It was the 7th month of the 7th day of the 7th year, 777.
And so, and now you're doing what you're doing. See, God shows, you can see God and evil always in the details.
Yep.
That's the point, right? They don't stare at you in the face. You know that saying, it's hidden in plain sight, right? That's how evil operates. And also that's how God operates. When you look at the details, look at the detail I just gave you, right? It's an interesting math calculation, but it's real. What are the chances of Trump stepping into office? 70 years, 7 months, 7 days. There's no probability of that, but it happened because it was by design. You see, so everything that we're living in, I'm just trying to illustrate to the world and people that listen to my presentations is, God's in control of all this. All glory goes to God. God has anointed me or given me the ability to understand some of his times and some of his seasons. And as time progresses, I get more revelation, right? Because what is revelation? It's an understanding.
Yep.
And so, a long time ago, revelation made zero sense to us. But now we're like, now this is making a lot of sense because we're in Revelation. We're in the end times. You go to the next slide on page 9. It's interesting, but from Pentecost on May 28th, took 25 days before from the Red Sea miracle, right? Israel leaves Pharaoh, Egypt, 18 days. They camp for another 8 days. On the 25th day, the Red Sea opens and it closes on the 25th day. Well, that just happens to be the 25 days from Pentecost is June 21. Summer
Wow.
solstice again. So I'm just showing you that the mathematical calculations are pointing to a very important time point as we're heading into the summer solstice. Again, does it happen on the summer solstice? I don't know. Does it happen the day after? I don't know. Does it happen on the 25th? I don't know. See, all I'm saying is that no one knows the day or the hour. I'm just telling you we're at a point now where it's a critical mass. Something big's about to go down here as we come into the end of June. And it's interesting that, we've got a few days after that is the first week of July, the 4th of July, right?
Right.
So, worldwide celebrations coming. I don't know. Don't be surprised. Okay. So when something happened, when Lazarus died, right? Remember, he died, he went into the tomb, and it was a very sad moment in time. So the United States, as you know it, as we know it, it must die. I'm telling you, this has to happen
Yep.
because 45, Trump's not allowed to come back in this kingdom. He has to come back after the fall of Babylon to rebuild it. Okay. If Babylon doesn't fall, then we don't, Daniel 2, verse 34, while you were watching a stone carved out by no human hand, meaning God intervenes, the glory intervenes and takes down Babylon. And then that's the birth of this new era that we're stepping into. Page 10 is Mystery Babylon. Everything we know is controlled in our humanity. Everything, the church, the family, education, government, media, and financial. It's all because of the money. Everything's controlled. Mystery Babylon. We're watching Mystery Babylon pull the strings on the jackal right now. Okay, these globalists are working in the shadows. It all ties in with the Khazarian mafia, which goes back to the time of creation. This is all evil, 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 and more evil. And that's just what it is. This is not a battle of flesh and blood. When you read on page 13, it's Ephesians, right? We battle not against flesh and blood, but
Right.
principalities, which are governments in darkness. Who are governments controlled by? Well, we're just the world's about to find out that these government people, all these three-letter agencies, the very top of them, the gates to hell, they're all infiltrated by evil.
Yep.
These demonic spirits have controlled and are now controlling all of humanity. And so on page 19, this is the wild part, right? Page 19 shows the story of Daniel, the prophecy of Daniel given the interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream on page 19. What does it say? It basically describes 2,500 years that happened. This is the most incredible prophecy ever told. Why? Because it's not 100 years. It's not 1,000 years. It's 2,500 years. And the point that God did this through Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel was to prove that he is God, because nobody can write a 2,500-year prophecy. God makes fools of diviners and soothsayers because it's not possible to write out the next 2,500 years. But yet we've seen every single kingdom from Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, the papacy, everything, every part of it happened. Page 20 shows you what hasn't happened yet, and that's the fall. The fall of, in this case, it's not Babylon per se, it's Mystery Babylon, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mystery Babylon is about to go down, and that's going to fulfill Daniel 2, verse 34, and that's again Revelation. Fallen is Babylon the Great, for she has become a dwelling place for demons. Am I wrong?
Yep.
That's
True.
scriptural.
Yep.
It's scriptural, and it's exactly what's going on in our world right now. Page 23. God is about to intervene and flip the tables, just like we saw happen to Belshazzar. Okay. What happened to Belshazzar? He flipped the tables. Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. God has numbered your days of your reign and brought it to an end. You've been weighed in the scales of balance and found deficient, meaning out of balance. meaning they printed money to infinity. Your kingdom has come to an end, will be divided and be given to the Medes and the Persians. In this case, it won't be given to the Medes and the Persians, it'll be given to the church, the bride to be. So we are about to get an inheritance that was stolen from us at the Garden of Eden. When Adam and Eve let Satan onto the earth, Satan, the liar, the stealer, the thief, he stole our inheritance that was made for us, the bride. And because of what happened at the garden, evil has ruled on this earth for 6,000 years. And a massive part of that is he stole our inheritance. And we're about to get our inheritance back. This will be the great wealth transfer. It's interesting. I just find it a coincidence that right after the indictment, Trump talked about opening of the seal.
Yes.
The seal is open. Do you know what seal that was? He doesn't realize what he said, but he basically, God used Trump to speak the words. And what he referenced, what he was referencing was the opening of the third seal of Revelation. That's what he was referencing, but he didn't realize it, because what's the third seal? The black horse with the rider holding scales in his hands,
That's
financial scales. Belshazzar, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. That is exactly what he was referencing, and he probably didn't even realize it. So we're about to see the greatest financial flip the world has ever seen. And why is that important? Because the banking institutions are going to go down. They've used the Federal Reserve note via the banking institutions to create debt and enslave humanity. And this is the key here. They've used the money for all the bribes and payoffs. I'm going to repeat that. The money has been used for bribes and payoffs. To what? Hide all the secrets done in the dark. So when we hit into the summer solstice, the day of most light, the secrets are about to start popping off here. And it's all going to be tied in directly with a collapse of the fiat-based Federal Reserve money system. And then, the saying is follow the money. Well, when you follow the money, the ones that are getting the money are not going to want it anymore, because it just lost its status as the world reserve currency. And when it loses its status as the world reserve currency, guess what comes out? All the deals done in the dark, all the secrets.
And it was just this week that JP Morgan settled for $280 million for the Epstein case.
Yeah, they always do that, right? $280 million. Are you kidding me? They click a button and create $1 trillion. Okay. So 280 million. See, it's a joke. They make it look like that's important. 280 million. It's chump change. That's a drop in their bucket. Okay. Diamond makes billions of dollars per year. This is all calculated into how the system works, right? You make $100 billion and you pay 500 million in damages. What a great system, right? But this is how the world works, right? It's all a scam. But they make it look like, oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot of money. Yeah, to the normal person.
But it just shows you that exposure is coming. It's already starting to happen.
Yeah, and so, but again, unless God intervenes, they're going to keep hiding the truth and hiding the truth and hiding. This is a fight to the death. They will do anything they possibly can, because they know if the truth comes out of what they've been doing here for centuries, for thousands of years, with killing, with the children, with all. If the truth comes out, it's going to make people want to throw up. And when this comes out, it's going to make people so sick that they can't let this truth come out. And that's why this will be a fight to the death. The problem that the evil ones have is they're fighting God. They're fighting God the Father, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, and they're about to have a come to Jesus moment. This is going to be a time point the world's never going to forget.
That's right. Literally. And it's for his glory. Before we take a quick commercial, I was thinking of you yesterday, the day before, when Haggai 2 came in, the silver and gold are mine, saith the Lord. But if you put that in context, the next verses that Haggai, the prophet, was talking about, it was the glory coming into the Jerusalem, a future date, a glory The line or the silver and the gold are for the church to bring the gospel from east to west to north to south. That's what it's for.
Correct. 100% correct.
Yeah. We'll be right back after this.
His Glory followers, thanks for your support and your love for Jesus Christ. Go to hisglory.me and click under merchandise and start shopping now. Shop for men's, women's, and kids apparel, plus backpacks, hats, and so much more. We have styles for everyone. It's that easy. Check in daily for our newest arrivals. Get your His Glory gear today. Visit hisglory.me.
And we're back. I was saying earlier to you, Bo, that my sources have told me I've got a short window to move and to get out. One of my intel sources has gone dark, meaning he's cut off comms. Something big is in the works as we speak.
Yes, all I know is I can fully confirm with what you're saying. This is like D-Day. We're racing into, I'm not even heading into it. We're racing into this right now. And as you can see, like this, so many events are just getting more intense and more intense and more intense every single day right now. And the thing is, we're heading some incredible time points here as we go into the end of June. So I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that we're about to see the flipping of the financial scales, the flipping of the world, the fall of Babylon. Something crazy is about to go down here. Actually, if we can reference page 27 here, this is this is probably one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible. It's Isaiah 61. I reference it so frequently when I do my presentations because it talks about, the year of the Lord's favor. Christ read this in the synagogue when he started his 3.5-year ministry. So he starts off by reading Isaiah 61. And it talks about specifically, the year of the Lord's favor, and then the day of vengeance, which wasn't referenced because that was for a future date. So we're about to see his glory manifest on this earth, potentially as June ends into July. The events are going to be so mind-boggling that the world is going to know that there is a God. He's going to reveal himself with signs and wonders. That's all I know. I don't know what it's going to be, the day it's going to be. I'm just saying, as June ends and as July's starting, the calculations are pointing to something on or about the 25th. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Those who have followed my work, for whatever reason, there's all these insane things that have been popping off going across the world, throughout our world, on the 24th of the month for whatever reason. And like the last one was, the FBI refuses to provide the subpoena records for the Biden bribery scheme. And that was on May 25th. So again, very important things were always happening on the 24th. And that just happens to be right a day before, the 25th time point. And so why am I referencing the 25th? Because I'm just using scripture to give a time calculation. And so on page 29, on Daniel 12, verse 7, it says, it will be. So what is it? Well, it could be glory, but it could also be evil. The point is, whatever time season we're in is what's happening. So in this time season, it's evil. So God allotted evil, a season of 3.5 years. And that's written in Daniel 12, verse 7. So if you go to page 30, you'll get a visual representation of that. So page 30 basically shows you that Corona came on the scene 3.5 years is the end of June, precisely the 25th, so on or about. Now we talked earlier, and then so from that point on, we're going to have, so as people are like, oh my goodness, this has taken so long. It's like 3.5 years, but understand, right? It was 3.5 years because it's a 7-year cycle. So it was 3.5 years of evil to then 3.5 years of the most incredible glory we can even imagine, but we can't even imagine because it's going to be so crazy. It's going to be so immensely awesome that we're going to see wonders like we can't even comprehend because God's going to intervene. And so page 31 takes us again, interesting time point, but those that have watched my work, if you go from when the day Trump gets elected, you run that 1,260-day cycle, the fullness of time. You run 1,260 days, and on the precise day, I said something huge happens on April 20th of 2020, and oil goes to negative $38 a barrel. That was a marker in time. I think everybody remembers that time point. And then you run 888 days, and you get to you get to September 25 of this past year, which starts the 50-year Jubilee. So 888 days from oil going to zero began the year of Jubilee, Leviticus. Thou shalt consecrate the 50th year. And that, it's more exciting because if you go to the next slide, 32, what does slide 32 say? We talk about Matthew 24 and birth pains, right? You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. These are the beginnings of birth pains. So this is not the end. We're in the beginning of the end. We're in the beginning of end times. Evil was given a season of 3.5 years. And if you do the calculations on birth, well, we know 9 months, right? So September 25, Rosh Hashanah, back to my calculation on page 31, right? So Rosh Hashanah, September 25 for the 888 pattern. You run from the 888 pattern, you go forward 9 months. So on page 32, you go forward 9 months and you get June 25. So we're about to see a birth, not of anything evil. We're going to see the birth of God's kingdom. We're going to see the birth of a new era here on earth. So something incredible is about to happen. We're stepping into the fullness of time as 9 months manifest. Now, again, a childbirth, right? The child, you have an expected delivery date of June 25. Could it happen a week or two early? Yeah. Could it happen a week or two later? Yeah. See, that's the thing. No one knows the day or the hour. But I'm showing you from the calculations, it's the end of June. It's something big's about to go down. On page 33, the next interesting calculation is using the 1,260 days. Well, from when Corona comes on scene, first diagnosed case outside of Wuhan, China, it was January 12th of 2020. Do 1,260 days, you get to the exact same date, June 25. It's incredible. So this verifies the birth calculation on the prior page. And then on the page 34, this further confirms the Kim Clement prophecy. And what did Kim Clement state? He says summer, because remember, on the 22nd of June, summer starts, right? Well, what did Kim Clement say? Summer will be the mediator between spring, which we're in right now, and ending, and fall, so the fall can do its work in America. So this actually perfectly fulfills the Kim Clement prophecy of 9 years ago. This is incredible what is about to manifest. And then if you understand the Daniel cycle, there's a 45-day window that goes from June 25 and it goes to August 9th. So there's a 45-day window of things that potentially is where God's intervening, and literally truths are popping off like you can't even imagine, of what's coming off between June 25 and August 9th. It's going to be crazy. And if you click on page 38, this is interesting, but this is my belief of how this is going to play out. So summers, which will be July, so we're in that 40, so the 45 days is that completely in that July. That'll be the strange July, right? The dollar will have lost its status as a world reserve currency. And that will fulfill what you were just talking about, Pastor Dave, about this attack on the US dollar. So the dollar gets attacked, I believe, this month, very shortly here. And when the dollar, and then that ties in with the cycles that I'm looking at. And so by the end of June, the dollar was attacked suddenly, overnight, in 24 hours. It was attacked and it lost its status as the world reserve currency. And it lose maybe a third of its value overnight. And then that embarks us on what's called hyperinflation, of everything, they've lost control of the financial system. And remember, when they lose control of the financial system, they lose control of everything.
That's right.
Because they built a system on the financial system. So they're going to fight to the death to protect their dollar.
That's right.
And so we're about to see God intervene and how this all plays out, and they lose status, that they will lose the dollar as a world reserve currency. And that's going to embark us in on what's called hyperinflation. Kim Clement prophesied in the summer, we're going to see earthquakes and eruptions. He also said, we're going to see uncovering of great evil. Well, that 45-day window from the 25th of June into August 9th, the uncovering of great evil, all the deals done in the dark. So something happens at the end of June, which sets us on a new set of railroad tracks, like the world is heading in a new direction. And truths are exposed and exposed and exposed. All the truths are popping off all of July. The dollar lost the status of the world reserve currency. Well, I think that would be classified as a strange July, the strangest July the world's probably ever seen.
Exactly.
And then that leads us into the next month. This is the cool part, right? What's written behind you, the name of your ministry, His Glory. Well, let's talk about His glory, because this is a revelation. There's a new slide, what I just got the other day. So if you click on 37, 37 is a representation of your ministry, Pastor Dave. It's Isaiah 11, verses 6 through 9. So this is what is about to happen starting August onwards for the next 3.5 years. The wolf will lie with a lamb. The leopard will lie down with a goat. The calf and a lion and a yearling together, and a little child will lead them. The cow will feed with the bear. Their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. The infant will play near the cobra's den, and the young child will put its hand into the viper's nest. They will neither hurt nor destroy on all my holy mountain, for the earth will be filled with the glory of the Lord, His glory, as the waters cover the sea. So we're about to step into peace. So as evil as everything is right now, when God flips the table, we step into His glory. His glory manifests the peace on earth, because the fullness of time has arrived, and now we're going to see the fulfillment of Isaiah 11. This is incredible. So what comes down? Cures for cancer, the great wealth transfer, free homes, free land. Why? Because bonds are broken. Banks go belly up. The days of struggle come to an end when His glory manifests. The struggles that we're seeing today are gone. Gone, Pastor Dave. We're going to get free auditoriums, free churches, everything paid off. This is what is coming. It will be fulfillment of Isaiah 11. We are so close to all of this manifesting on our earth. And if you also understand that the cycle patterns on page 44, we've got 3 blood moons coming next year, all landing on Purim. Okay.
Wow.
So like I said, right, what happens? For what a man soweth, thus shall he reap. So for the next 3 years, these people who wanted evil for us, they're going to get it on their own heads. They are the ones that are going to reap the evil, not the church. It's incredible how this is all manifesting, but we're at page 55 shows us this is what we're about to witness here is a third seal of Revelation. So I've talked about this earlier, but the third seal is a black horse, which represents death, their death. Because when the angel of death showed up to Pharaoh, what did he do? He passed over Israel. He passed over Goshen, and he attacked Pharaoh. And see, the rider's got scales in his hand. So this is that many tekel offshore sea moment that's about to happen. And this will be the attack on the US dollar. So Kent Christmas, Robin Bullock, Julie Green, and one other prophet, I know 4 prophets on page 56 have referenced the angel of death being on the earth right now.
Oh, yeah.
So the angel of death is going to strike these evil ones, and it's going to cause a sudden removal of a massive chunk of Congress. I think is going to be suddenly removed.
Wow.
Something is about to happen here that is unexplainable. See, that's the thing. It's going to be unexplainable. When the angel of death struck Pharaoh, right? It killed all the firstborn. So you have to understand, I've stated before, but they're precision deaths, precision strikes, indicating there was not a randomness to it. There were no coincidences. It happened precisely, right? And so these deaths that are about to manifest, it's going to be obvious that it wasn't random. It
Right.
wasn't just a fluke of nature. No, it was something of precision is about to manifest on the earth. And so that takes us into page 58, because why would it happen this year? I know all these things sound truly astonishing, but remember, I'm just referencing scriptures to illustrate how everything is written. Because if I'm making this up, then I couldn't reference the scriptures, but I'm referencing the scriptures to illustrate the magnificence of this. So when you read Isaiah 61, and you shall consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all of its inhabitants. Well, why is this the 50th year? On page 59, what does it tell us on page 59? That abortion was the number one reason. I can tell you, number one reason God never allowed this all to happen, because we allowed it to happen to us.
Yep.
We allowed abortion. Okay, so in January of 73, it became law. But then if you apply Leviticus to that, you add 50 years to January of 73, you get January of 2023 now. So that is the main reason. And when you read Leviticus, it says, thou shalt consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land. Remember that word land, because that's critical. Liberty throughout the land. Now, also, what also happens in the 50th year, why will this be the great wealth transfer? Because Nixon took us off the gold standard. You can see on page 65, he took us off the gold standard in 1971, but then it was in 1973, July, that it became the petrodollar. Okay, so the petrodollar was in January of 73, which means what? 50 years, Leviticus. There you go. So the 50-year Jubilee is this June. Now, this is like we're stepping into the 50-year Jubilee moment right here, right now. It's about to manifest. So something crazy is about to happen. And we can maybe finish here on page 92, because on page 92, it talks about Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles states very, very specifically here, Second Chronicles 7, verse 14. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sins. And here, please pay attention, and heal their land. You see, so Leviticus talks about a restoration of the land. Second Chronicles speaks specifically about healing our land.
Yep.
Both of which are done by the hand of God. That's so important to understand. So why have we not seen it last year or 10 years ago? Or why didn't we see it after 9/11? Because after 9/11, we could pray Second Chronicles all we want, which we did. Much of the world was praying, waking up, they're so diligent about reading and praying Second Chronicles. But there was a huge problem: abortion. You see, as a nation founded under God, all men are created equal. What happened? That nation that was founded under God, with all men being created equal, is killing the Creator's creation. So you want to know why God let this go 50 years? Because of abortion.
Mm-hmm.
But after abortion is turned over with Roe v. Wade, again, what happened on the 24th, 6/24, okay? So it's just another coincidence, right? But it happened on a 24, and it just, all of this is incredible. And that was Haggai, right? Haggai 1. It talked about, the second year, the 24th day of the 6th month.
Yep.
You referenced Haggai earlier too. Haggai 2, the verse 8, the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. See, Haggai's talking about things in the future, and we're witnessing it right now. And so God's about to heal. God's about to restore our land. And I'm not making it up. It's scriptural, and it's 50 years from when? It's 50 years from abortion, 50 years from the petrodollar. And this is the other crazy, awesome one, right? And when you read how long was Israel in bondage to Egypt? 400 years. Well, boom, Corona comes out from Mayflower landing, 400 years, Corona manifests on the earth. Now you run the fullness of time, 3.5 years, and you come to the end of June. All I'm saying is that something immensely powerful is in the works. Something is about to happen that's biblical. Biblical is coming down. And on page 93, what are we talking about? A revival. Like the ones we can't even imagine. And just what a coincidence between 70 and 73 was you have that the Jesus revolution, right? Come on. All of this is by godly design, because then we step into the 50-year Jubilee and we have the greatest revival in human history. Also fulfilling what's on 94, which was William Seymour prophecy, that in 100 years, God will pour out his spirit like the days of Azusa, but greater. Well, where have we seen that in scripture? Haggai 2 verse 9, the latter rain will be greater than the former rain.
Exactly.
So there is your scriptural reference to this. So the latter rain has already been birthed on the earth, okay? But it's in its infancy. The latter rain, us, spiritually is only 3 years old. The latter rain was birthed on Pentecost of the year 2020 in May. So this May, the latter rain became 3 years old. But what can a 3-year-old child do? Talk, walk, okay, and start doing things. So guess what? We're going to start doing things, and that's going to be this incredible his glory moment on the earth when God manifests. And when Jesus read Isaiah 61, you have to understand his ministry. He got baptized, he read Isaiah 61, and then he started his 3.5-year ministry. You see, so we're heading into 3.5 years of the most incredible that we can ever comprehend. And all of it is predicated on the collapse of the financial system. When the system collapses, then you'll get 45. Trump's going to return to rebuild the collapsed Babylon. But this will be, and also in July is a time when Trump is going to come to realize the power of God. He's going to wake up to the power of God, and he's going to have this moment in time where he's going to really fall to his knees, I believe, because of what's about to manifest here. So it's going to be incredibly powerful, this month of July. And it's interesting that leads us into the Trump cycle on page 98. If you run 1,260 days forward from when oil goes to zero, it takes us into November 2nd of this year. And as far as December, so everything we know will massively shift in November 2nd into December 17th, fulfilling the prophetic word of Kim Clement, hypnotic November. And in the fall, because September 17th is still fall, and in the fall, I will show you who my David is.
Wow.
What a great place to end. But all of this is right on schedule. It's right on timing. The greatest wealth transfer we've ever imagined is about to manifest. It's going to start to go down here as June ends. I truly hope people have listened to our presentations that we do together with Andrew and have prepared financially.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
Because when God flips the tables, he is going to destroy the financial system that we use today, and gold and silver are going to explode vertical and never look back. And the monetary system we use is going to go to a gold standard. everything is going to flip. Just like you said, when you're in Israel, you'd give them $1, you'd get change in shekels. You're going to give them a silver coin, you're going to get change in the new treasury note backed by gold and silver. The way we transact is about to change. It's going to be incredible. We are at 400 years, we're at 50 years, and we're at 1,260 days. It's here, it's now.
It really is the greatest time in the history of the world to be alive. We can't fear. We got to keep moving on and keep leaning in and trust God. He's gonna see us through.
Amen.
Amazing times we live in. Bo, thank you so much. And I think I'll see you again next week. And then we're going to be in Pennsylvania on a 24th date.
Amen. God bless.
And giving him glory. All right, that wraps up today's Take 5. God bless you, and go in his shalom.
It's a miracle that Israel is still in existence in this part of the world. It's a very, very tough neighborhood.
Pick up your Bible, come to Israel, see these places that Jesus walked and King David walked. It'll change your life forever. It'll make the Bible come alive for you. And it's going to get you stronger in your faith. We have to support the nation of Israel, biblical Israel.